These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
If you're a farmer, you need to hear this game-changing news about crop insurance. It's now possible to protect up to 95% of your farm's revenue, not at the county level, but down to your individual fields. At Trados, we help farms design protection that works with their marketing plan, not in isolation. The key isn't buying another product. It's understanding how coverage, grain marketing, and your operation work together. As hail and wind rates continue to increase, now's the time to ask better questions. Call us today or visit gotrados.com to start protecting 95%. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trados, ingrained in your success.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln. Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Good morning, Breakers. This is Scott Miller from Midwest Bank. When I recently joined Midwest Bank, I was immediately impressed by our exceptional service. My first customer made the switch from a large corporate bank and didn't have to wait in line or call a 1-800 number. We treated him like family. He now visits the bank just to say hello. While other banks go corporate, we stay Nebraska. Visit us at midwest.bank or drop by a branch today. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
It's been a busy day in sports. A lot has happened while you were up to your eyeballs in work. Catch up on what went down in Nebraska athletics, college sports, and your favorite pro sports leagues. This is Late Night in Lincoln live on 93.7 The Ticket. Sponsored by Canopy Street Market. Here is your host, Nick Whyman.
How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Late Night Lincoln here on 93.7 The Ticket on this Monday. It's been a day. A lot going on in the world of sports. Not only here in Nebraska, but nationally. As we will get into a lot of it. Obviously, we'll put a cap on the Olympics. I wanted to kind of save my segment for the Olympics. I've mentioned the Olympics almost every night I've been here on Late Night Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket. So we will put a cap kind of on what not only were my favorite moments, but we'll talk about what were your favorite moments as well, because everybody has an opinion. There are several different stories from the Winter Olympics that came out over the last 2.5 weeks. A lot of different games, a lot of different events, a lot of different stories. So if you're rocking with me here on this Monday evening, still cold here. I mean, last time I was here Thursday night, it was the roads. You couldn't even see them when I was here in Late Night Lincoln. And now you look outside. Let's take a little gander while we're here. You know, there's snow, but you can see the road because, hey, credit to the city of Lincoln, the workers, to put in that extra time and hours to make that possible, because that's not just one person job. That is a team, and able to make it sure that we can drive the streets here in the capital city. A lot of work, a lot of behind the scenes work. Is it fun work? Probably not, but hey, did a darn good job to make sure there's no ice or snow packed on the roads. So Late Night Lincoln, Nick Whyman here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you are watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or on Allo Channel 961, love to hear from you. Give your opinion on any of the topics we discussed tonight. I'll give you the rundown real quick. But if you'd like to join the conversation, as always, Sarah Heyman Jewelers text line 402-464-5685. That is 402-464-5685. Join the conversation, or as you will, comment on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter, and we will be able to see your comment. You'll be able to join the conversation, because it's just you and me here for one more hour before you get into Tuesday, as another week starts over here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Well, we're going to start off with the Olympic talk in this first segment, because obviously there was a big hockey game that happened in, yesterday morning. I know it was early, but it was worth it. And you got to witness history for the United States hockey team. Along with that, we'll talk about Nebraska's big weekend that happened for basketball, men getting back in the win column, women as well, putting an end to a losing skid down in the Pacific Northwest, beating the Washington Huskies in a nail-biter, a really fun game, and a heroic effort from Britt Prince, hitting a shot at the top of the key and then holding the Huskies down and limiting them after they got 3 attempts toward the end, 3 solid looks, but the bucket did not fall. Nebraska, a much-needed win for Nebraska women's basketball. Baseball, obviously, picked up a win to close out their time in Texas, in Arlington, at Globe Life Field. Nick Sainer was there for all 3 games for the Huskers, Nebraska losing to Louisville and Kansas State, but capping off the weekend with a win over a ranked team in the Florida State Seminoles. They'll have another ranked team coming up this weekend. There'll be another big one. And then Nebraska softball, we'll talk a little about them too. They were on a heater in California, and the bats were hot and brought home a lot of wins, and move to Tulsa, where they're going to play some teams out in Oklahoma and Stillwater as well over the next couple of days. We'll talk a little about that as well. Before we get started, I want to give a little shout out to Nebraska Wrestling, capping off regular season play with a win in Utah against Utah Valley, Orem, Utah. That is where they capped it off non-conference against Utah Valley, got the win, and got some matches in the belt before the Big Ten Wrestling Championships take center stage. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. It'll be that is a tournament where you got Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, Nebraska, Indiana, Illinois also ranked. There is a lot of competition going to be out there in the Big Ten Wrestling Championships, and that'll be a big one. But as always, 402-464-5685. The United States hockey, the women obviously got it done on Friday last week. Or Megan Keller goal to give the United States the gold in women's hockey at the Olympics. Beat Canada in that one. And that was a memorable moment, because the Hillary Knight's final game, she has been an Olympian multiple times, goes out on top, said this was it. Got Layla Edwards making history there with that team as well. And that's how that one ends. 2 days later, oh boy, I said Thursday night when the semifinals were happening. Or it was Thursday, the women's match was, Thursday, the women's match was on Thursday. So Friday, I remember talking late night Lincoln saying, oh, the United States has a match, semifinals, Canada. Would it be nice to see those two teams in the finals for the men's? But would it be funny if that was a third place match and both teams somehow lost in the semifinals? Well, both teams got a win, moved on to the finals. Was Sunday morning at a good old 7 a.m. Central Time start time. I know a lot of people were complaining, like, oh, why is it starting at 7 a.m.? Well, there's something called time zones, and the world does not revolve around your set time zone. Would that have been nice to be a primetime one on a Sunday night or something like that? Sure. However, time doesn't run on your time, and there are such things as time zones across the world. Not just the United world. The world does not revolve around the United States of America. There are other countries in Italy or Milan and Cortina were the hosts of said Olympics, the 2026 edition of the Winter Olympics. So time runs on their schedule. So 7 a.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern was the start time for this gold medal match between the United States and Canada. I remember when the Olympics started, I was excited because the first Olympics with NHL players since 2014 Sochi, and you got to witness that for the first time since then, over 10 years, finals United States versus Canada for the gold. You couldn't have asked for a better game. And it delivered. I was afraid maybe you'd wake up early and this game doesn't deliver. And this game isn't, what it is. It's going to be United States loses or whatever happens. The game's not close. But it delivered. United States, Matt Goldie puts them up early with a goal in the first period. And within the first 10 minutes, the United States takes a 1-0 lead and jumps out and grabs some momentum. And then all of a sudden, you have the United States having all this, 1-0 lead on Canada. Holding Canada. Canada has Cale Makar. They have Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon. They have some of the top scorers in the NHL on their line. And the United States was able to prevent that from happening. And you have this chance, there was the big opportunity time was when the United States was facing a 5-3 deficit because of power play. So all of a sudden, Canada's got a real good chance in 2 minutes to score a goal on the United States. But they didn't. The United States were able to fight the deficit of a 5-3 power play, deny Canada of a goal. That's a golden opportunity right there. You're down 2 guys. The United States is doing everything in their power to keep the Canadians off the board, and they do. And the United States keeps it 1-0 throughout. Connor Hillebuck, the goalkeeper, Winnipeg Jets, outstanding game for him in the Winter Olympics. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about Marham. We have an image we can show as well. If you did not catch the gold medal match, we can explain how close it was for Canada to pretty much win this game. There were opportunities. So along with that, Canada did end up tying it up with a goal to make it 1-1. And all of a sudden, at that moment, it felt like next goal was winning. It's kind of like soccer in a sense, when you see a goal go down, it feels like that was the moment. And Canada scores. Canada was out shooting the United States by quite the amount of shots too. So at this point, it was a very lopsided on offense. Canada had way more shots than the United States, way more opportunities, and the United States still kept it tied. Still kept it within range. And watching as a viewer, I'm not the biggest hockey guy, I will admit that, but I will watch the Stanley Cup playoffs because they are intense in these games. But when a team is just kind of not, Canada was really kind of just knocking on the door, it felt like in that second period and third period. And it felt like, if the USA gives up a goal here, it's probably all she wrote, because it felt like the United States just couldn't get anything offensively going at that very moment. Well, that goes down, and the United States is able to keep them off the board. And the game remains tied at 1-1 and goes to overtime. And this, it's 3v3. A lot of people like, you want 5-on-5 overtime. It was 3v3. Canada's coach, who coaches the Tampa Bay Lightning, was not in favor. He didn't like that it was 3v3. But here's the thing: Canada had, like I mentioned, they had McKinnon, they had McCarr, and they had Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. You have guys, Sidney Crosby, 2010, Vancouver. Crosby the kid, young player at that time with the Pittsburgh Penguins, scores the game-winning goal to give Canada the gold. Vancouver, 2010. I mean, prolific scorers, guys who have stepped up to that moment in that moment for Canada, and USA denied them. And there were so many close calls, and I mean so many close calls throughout this game that were talked about from so many angles. I mean, one of them here, I will pull up an image here in a second. I'm trying to find a good one. There was a couple of them that really stood out throughout, but there's especially one that really was the difference that really took it by storm. So here's one of them. There was a shot in late regulation during the look at this. I mean, this is how close it was for Connor Hellebuck giving up a goal during this gold medal match. I mean, that's a stick save right there. That is, I mean, you can see the net right there at the top of the image, top of the page there, how close that was to giving up the goal. I mean, you are a millisecond late on putting your stick there, blocking that. That's a goal. And you are trailing at that moment. Hellebuck had, a game of his life. He had over 40 saves, was able to keep the United States in the game and keep the gold medal within reach. And that is one of the images. I mean, that is an image. Whoever took that photo, I mean, hey, that is a crazy image to get that photo of the goal. That was nearly the game winner for Canada. Like, I mean, you got to think, like, you're late on that for a second. You're a second behind that in reaction time. Goalkeeping is hard to do. You missed that by a second. That's a goal. And Canada, who knows? Maybe that's the game winner. And it sneaks past you by that millisecond. But the game goes to overtime. And sudden death. Golden goal, as they said. Jack Hughes, his brother Quinn Hughes, hit a game winner to keep the United States alive in the quarterfinal round. And history repeats itself. Jack Hughes this time gets the United States had a little bit of a 3-on-1 there. Pass goes to Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes slaps it home and wins the gold for the United States for the first time in Olympic play since 1980. Why is that important? Canada's kind of dominated in recent years against this team. And beat them last year when the NHL didn't have their All-Star game. They had a series with the International the Nation Series. 4 Nations. That was what the name was. Canada won. Got the last laugh in that one. So, and then 1996 World Cup of Hockey was the last time the United States beat Canada in an international play. So you go back to 1980, February 22nd, in 1980, 46 years ago, the United States hockey, Al Michaels on the call, the miracle on ice happens where the United States gets the win in that one. However, I've said it throughout the day. That was not a gold medal match. I know history likes to say that was the championship. That was the gold medal between the United States and Russia, but no. That was a semifinal match. But that was still a monumental moment, as it's still talked about this day. The call by Al Michaels is unbelievable. And it is a moment etched in history. This wasn't a miracle on ice because the United States and Canada were kind of 1 and 2. But the United States played as kind of an underdog mentality throughout. They felt like a team that, Canada has kind of been the top dog. And rightfully so. They have some of the best players in the NHL. They have some of the best players in hockey right now, some future Hall of Famers on their team. The United States was able to kind of hang together and make this the story of sports for the weekend. There's a lot going on in sports, especially here. You have Nebraska baseball, softball, wrestling, basketball teams in action. You got NBA picking back up after but this Olympic hockey game, I would really like to see the ratings for this game. Obviously an early start time, but everywhere I looked on social media, everywhere everywhere you turned, this was what everybody talked about. We talked to some people today here at the studio, and they're like, man, that hockey game, like, that's the momentum for the sport that it had. That's how much of a grip this gold medal match had on everybody. And it was appointment television for everybody to watch that moment in real time when Jack Hughes slaps the puck into the back of the net and get to see that celebration. I think the other part of this not only was the win for the United States team, I think it's the what it meant to not only the country beating Canada, I think it was also the team that they put out there, because there was more to it than just these players. This is a team that has, they've been close last year in the Four Nations. They were close, but they weren't good enough to get over that hump. And this is a team that most of these guys played in that Four Nations and lost to Canada during that moment. But this team they were playing not only for one another, but for Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau, obviously a player, he played for Calgary, and then he capped off his career with Columbus, and obviously was a really good hockey player. Passed away in an accident, ends up passing away alongside his brother in a horrific incident. I mean, it was talked about all over the world of sports. Johnny Gaudreau. It was about 2 years ago. Johnny Gaudreau had a really good chance of playing in said Olympics. And throughout the time of the Olympics, you saw talk about how they have Johnny Gaudreau's jersey hanging up in the locker room. And they were playing for not just each other, but for Johnny and his family. So Johnny Gaudreau was a part of his team. They were carrying around the number 13 jersey. After you saw the game-winning goal and the celebrations going on, you had players with the Gaudreau jersey going around the rink with it. Not only that, you had Gaudreau's family there. His two daughters going to come out on the ice. They carry him out over there, and they celebrate with the two youngins of Gaudreau going out on the ice holding their dad's jersey. I mean, if you don't have a tear in your eye, this was a moment of something. It was something that irrescribable. This is what sports is all about. I know to cap off the broadcast, Mike Tirico had a very good line about how sports unites everybody. And I think that is true. There's a lot of negativity in the world. There's a lot of stuff that happens. But sports is an escape in a real place where people connect with one another as a player, as a coach, as a fan. There's a lot of moral things out of it. And this game, you could feel it. I remember seeing the Gaudreau stuff when he passed away, and it was sad. Like, did I watch a lot of hockey? No, but that's somebody's life. That's somebody's family. That's a team that's all affected. You saw when the teams in Columbus and Calgary, they put all the flowers out in front of those stadiums for a guy like that, and he had a really good chance of playing with this team in this moment in Milan, Cortina, for the 2026 Winter Olympics, and didn't get that chance. But the team, these guys, some of his former teammates, some players he's gone up against throughout his professional career, were united together as one, not only for each other, but for a nation and also for the Gaudreau family. And they had the heck of a game against Canada and walked away with the gold for the first time since 1980 in Olympic play. Storybook stuff. Was it the Miracle on Ice? No. I don't think the two are comparable. Miracle on Ice, 46 years ago, wasn't even a gold medal match. Semifinal match, United States gets past that to then win the gold. 46 years later, United States wins it against Canada. That wasn't a Miracle on Ice. Was it a great game? Yes. Was it an upset? Sure. I mean, the 1 and 2, I think Canada was favored coming into it. But, hey, I was curious to see what happened, and it got my attention. And it was an exciting match that went down to the brink. I'm really curious if you were watching, where you were watching, and what your kind of emotions were like. Nebraska, not the biggest hockey. We have the Lincoln Stars. They're a great team. Won the Clark Cup a couple of years, a regular season title last year. Anderson Cup. But the show must go on. And people are going to forget about it. Hopefully you stick to watching hockey and grow as the postseason. If you ever watch the Stanley Cup playoffs, it is fun to watch. It is a sport where you're battling, literally. You're not only physically, you're mentally drained in those kind of games. You're playing 25, 35 minutes on the ice. So we are going to go to break. When we come back, that's put a bow on the Olympics here. We're going to talk more about Nebraska sports in general. A lot going on, as we will talk about Nebraska men's basketball, put a little bow on that one before they go into play one of their last home games of the regular season. They will play against Maryland on Wednesday. And we'll talk about the women getting back in the win column, and then a little spark notes on what happened with softball and baseball as their weekends in Texas and California, respectively, came to an end on Sunday. We'll be right back here. Late 9 Lincoln, 93.7 The Ticket, and theticketfm.com.
It's the two-fingered wave on a gravel road. It's letting the kids take dad's truck to prom. It's Friday nights under the lights of a hometown football field. Eustace Body Shop knows small towns. It's where our values are rooted. We treat our people right, and in turn, they treat you, our customer, right. And we give back to our communities. Not much more small town than that. Eustace Body Shop, small town service, big city technology.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
This is Jordy Ball for Anderson Ford. For years, Anderson has relied on an exceptional customer experience. But just this once, they're going to rely on a really great pitch.
Right now, lease a 2025 Ford F-150 for $199 per month.
Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1007055. Previous service loaner. $199 per month. Lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 6,800 to assignee. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from the Anderson Auto Group by 3/31/26. See dealer for details.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
And electrical.
When you or someone you know has been seriously injured and you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will fight for the justice you deserve in court to get the very best possible outcome. Trust the compassionate and hardworking attorneys at Liberty Law Group when you need an attorney in Nebraska or Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to Late Night in Lincoln live on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Nick Whyman.
Welcome back. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 1040 O Street in the capital city, Lincoln, Nebraska, here on February 23rd, 2026. A couple more, a little under a half hour before we send you into your Tuesday as another week recycles. But we just got done putting a cap on the Olympics, talking about the United States men's hockey team winning a emotional gold medal over Canada. And one of the, it was built up to what it was, and it delivered on many occasions. But we're going to talk more Nebraska sports now. 402-464-5685. If you want to join the conversation, we're going to jump around a little speed dial here in the next 10-ish minutes about what happened. Spring football practice obviously takes a little bit of a center stage just due to what it is. And that's one of the sports that will. But Nebraska basketball, obviously, 23-4 now overall, 12-4 in conference play. Dropped that game to Iowa. We talked about how that game didn't want them to define the season with that one, but they come back with a dominant 87-64 win over Penn State on Saturday. I was here for that one post game with Austin Norman, obviously from Pinnacle Bank Arena. A lot to talk about in this one. There is, Leo Curtis and Jared Garcia coming back off the bench. Got to see a little bit of them with playing time. Jared Garcia, probably the best he's looked since Champaign against Illinois. 4 points in 19 minutes, 7 boards, second on the team in this game, by the way. Pretty notable stat line for him. Hope maybe we see him more. Curious to see what his minutes look like as the regular season winds down, not only with 4 more games left, but also the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament. So that's not a question. Nebraska will be there. Price Stanford, 8 threes, 8 of 14 shooting, 33 points, career high in this one. Also had 9 boards and 2 assists. I mean, what else is there to say about Price this season? Price is right, hitting all the threes. He broke the record for most threes in a single season in Nebraska basketball history. He tied the record on Saturday. Glad the Iowa game, obviously that was a physical game for him, playing against a team where he played at for 2 years, but mentally also, as the crowded Iowa City did him no favors. They let him hear it from time to time when he touched the ball during Steiner and whatnot. But hey, 33 points for him. You can have that plus other guys getting going. Watch out. Nebraska basketball, they will play at home on Wednesday as they face the Maryland Terrapins, another team in the bottom 4 of the Big Ten Conference, looking to try to right their wrongs this season. They have Buzz Williams here there at Maryland. Has not been great. That game is at 6 o'clock on the 25th. Game can be seen on BTN, but as always, 8 o'clock. I'm assuming Harrison will be here. Harrison Arns will be where I am sitting right now. He'll be doing post-game, probably with Austin Norman, I would assume. But I will also be here. That'll be around 8 o'clock after the final buzzer sounds between Maryland and Nebraska on Wednesday night. But along with that, they'll play Saturday against USC, make that West Coast trip. 3 o'clock Central tip for that one. Post-game will be around 5 o'clock on Saturday as well. We have a loaded schedule. We'll have women's basketball post-game that day, too. They play at 1 o'clock against Rutgers. That'll be around 3 o'clock. So we'll have a nice little slate for you on Saturday. Should be a really fun one. Not only from 8 o'clock in the morning, but till about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in this matter in the afternoon. Should be a really fun one. But Nebraska women's basketball, talked about them playing Rutgers on Saturday to wrap up regular season play on Senior Day. They capped off the Pacific Northwest trip with a win. Caught me probably on YouTube on last Thursday on the 19th when Nebraska lost to Oregon, led by 12 in the fourth quarter and let that one kind of slip away. A lot of Nebraska's losses have been like that. They've been able to hang with the top teams in the Big Ten, but have let it slip away. Let 1 quarter, 1.5 quarters of basketball get away and be on the wrong end of a lot of close ball games. Wisconsin, Michigan State are two that really jump off the page to me. Oregon is another one. Minnesota, they were in it and they let it slip away in the end too. Iowa game was only a 13-point game. Minnesota, they let get away in the first half. There's games like that. One bad quarter defines it, then you're playing catch up. Or in this case, in Oregon, we're up and then let that fourth quarter where they went on a drought, and then Oregon was able to come back and win that one. This Washington game had a lead and started to kind of slip away, and 63-65, under 20 seconds to play. Britt Prince, top of the key, hits a three and gives the Huskers the lead, the late shot. And, I mean, that was a cold-blooded shot from the top of the key right there. And puts them up by 1. Washington has a chance to answer. I mean, they had a chance. They had chances, I should say, to answer. They had some really good looks at the basket, but none of the 3 shots fell. And Nebraska ends that losing streak, gets a win, a quality win as well, before they head off to play against Rutgers here in Lincoln on Saturday. And that's it for the regular season for Nebraska women's basketball. They will head to the Big Ten women's basketball tournament in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the home of the Indiana Pacers, on March 4th. It would be your opening round games. Nebraska right now would have to play Wisconsin is what it looks like per the format and per projections and per what the standings are. But like I said, there's still a game left. A lot can change. Rutgers is in the bottom of the league right now, so who knows? You got to come to play. We've seen it with Nebraska women's basketball from time to time. Got to get some momentum going into postseason play. So along with that, let's shift over to the Diamond. Nebraska baseball, M&G Bank College Baseball Series, their second weekend of the season. 3-1 started out this weekend. Some tough losses. We're ahead against Louisville, the 15th ranked team in the nation at the time. 2-0, let a couple innings slip away, and Louisville wins 4-2 in the end on Friday. Saturday, played K-State. K-State got the best of them twice in 3 matchups last year. This time around, K-State got the last laugh in a 5-3 game on Saturday at Globe Life Field. Another close loss. But ending on a high note, Nebraska beat number 16 Florida State 10-1 to bring home a win. Going 0-3 would have been a little not great. Make the trip down there, you lose 3 games. Oh, man, that stinks. And on a high note, get some momentum going because they're going to need it. As Nebraska, looking at the schedule, you saw those first 2 weekends and what the opponents were. Okay, Nebraska currently sitting at 4-3, but you're playing some quality opponents. And the season doesn't stop there. They will go Friday, February 27th until March 1st on Sunday. I think Nebraskans knew, okay, the schedule, you see Auburn. You're going to Auburn, Alabama to play the Auburn Tigers for the first weekend series of the season. You knew Auburn was going to be good. But they're ranked number 7 to start the year. So Nebraska is going to be going up against a top 10 team, a team looking to not only host if the season ended right now, I mean, that's right now, we're only 2 weeks in, but they are in line for host a regional, potentially host a super regional, and look like a team that could be playing in Omaha come June. So this is a real test week, and you're going to see a lot of it. This is the Big Ten Conference. Everyone knows is not very deep in baseball, but there's teams like UCLA, who's number 1 in the nation. You have teams, Nebraska's up there as well. But the resume builder ones are here. If you can take 2 or 3 out from Auburn or something like that, and win this series against the Tigers in their home ballpark, hey, that's a lot right there. Just get one, too. This is a good team, and you're going to be playing some of the best, some future professional players right here. And Nebraska's got a couple on their roster as well, but this Auburn team is good. And then after that, Nebraska will turn home for their first homestand of the season. Tuesday, March 3rd, they will play Omaha, 1:30 at Hawks Field at Haymarket Park. And then the day after that, 1:30 as well, on Wednesday, March 4th, they will play at home against South Dakota State as the Jackrabbits make the trip. And then the first Big Ten weekend, 6th through the 8th, they'll play the Michigan State Spartans 2 o'clock on Friday, 1 o'clock on Saturday, and noon on Sunday. So baseball, snow on the ground here, but hey, we are about a week away from the first home baseball game of the season. Fingers crossed, because I feel like there's always snow or something, or it's too cold to play, and Mother Nature likes to wreak havoc with college baseball and college softball. Speaking of college softball, Nebraska softball now 11-4 on the season. I feel like we were just talking the other day about the UTSA Invitational, but here we are. They are in the heat of the season and winning games against Texas, Texas Tech, playing teams like Tennessee and Georgia in losses that are tough. But Nebraska last Friday and Saturday got to play some top-ranked teams again. And Nebraska, Friday, beat number 13 South Carolina 9-1 in 5 innings. They run-ruled them. Jessie Farrell played a huge role again. Jordy Fromm, we'll say her name a bajillion times this evening. She went off against some of these teams. Nebraska then beating Hawaii. Hannah Kamenzen throwing a no-hitter, the 42nd no-hitter in program history against Hawaii in a 13-0 win. Also on Friday, Nebraska then played one game on Saturday, playing a ranked team again in Texas A&M, who was number 11. Nebraska beating them 8-2. Man, 3-0 with 2 wins over ranked teams. That's a solid weekend in itself. But it don't stop there. It doesn't stop there. They then played 2 games on Sunday. They beat Seattle University 9-0 in 6 innings, another run rule win, and then capped it off with a win over ACC Conference Cal member, 6-0. So they've not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 wins in a span of 72 hours to push Nebraska to 11-4 on the season. And 2 of those wins are against ranked teams, and they dominate. 9-1, 13-0, 8-2, 9-0, 6-0. None of those games are really close. Nebraska softball was legit. 8147 says, Nebraska softball seems underranked at 8. You are not only playing, none of these games are relatively close. And you play a team like South Carolina, who's part of the SEC conference, is going to run into your LSUs, your Tennessees, your A&Ms. And A&M is the same way. You're playing a team that is going to be probably in a regional, probably going to be pretty good. And Nebraska has wins. They've only played 3 weeks. And Nebraska has wins over Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, South Carolina, Washington. That's 5 quality wins right off the bat. No pun intended. And Nebraska's got, that's wild. And the season's, they're only 3 weeks in. And they'll start Thursday. They'll play Oklahoma State. Pitcher for them, Ruby Milan, former Omaha Catholic pitcher, played with Hannah and Lauren Kamenzen, played softball together with the Skyhawks softball program. So there's some connections there. Nebraska will play them on Thursday in Stillwater. Nebraska will make the quick trip to Tulsa. They'll play South Dakota State in Tulsa on Friday, February 27th. And then Nebraska will cap off the weekend with 2 games against Oklahoma State, February 28th and March 1st. And then the first home game will be against South Dakota State on Thursday, March 5th at 4 o'clock. So a lot, it's cold here right now, but it's exciting knowing we've already got those 3-4 weeks of this, the first couple weeks of the season for baseball and softball fly by. And Nebraska always opens on the road, in California, Texas, or whatnot, because it's cold here in Nebraska. And it's probably not really, imagine trying to play a baseball game last week. You look at Monday and Tuesday last week, people wearing shorts walking around. It's reaching 70 degrees, but then Thursday, you get a snowstorm and several inches of snow. And then Friday, picking up the snow and whatnot. Big Red Invite Bowling had to get pushed back to 11 o'clock start instead of 9 o'clock on Friday because of the amount of snow that came down. So it's nice to know, when baseball and softball start playing at Hawks Field, at Haymarket Park and Bowling Stadium, the weather's getting nice. And they should draw some good crowds. Nebraska baseball, obviously, a lot of expectation with them. But also you have softball, who is probably is one of the best players in Jordy Fromm, alongside her cast of the Kamenzins, Jesse Farrell, Hannah Core, etc. You got a legit Women's College World Series qualifier on your hands. I know they fell short last year, but it's a hungry group, and you can tell with how they're scheduling and whatnot. So we're going to take our last break. We'll be right back. We'll wrap up the show and get ready for Tuesday. We'll look at some college basketball scores. There were two notable top 25 scores, and then also a quarterback committed for college football. An interesting one. You probably know his dad. We'll be right back here at 92.7 Ticket, ticketfm.com. Late Night in Lincoln with Nick Whyman.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All these with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front of the line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2 for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
If you're a farmer, you need to hear this game-changing news about crop insurance. It's now possible to protect up to 95% of your farm's revenue, not at the county level, but down to your individual fields. At Trados, we help farms design protection that works with their marketing plan, not in isolation. The key isn't buying another product. It's understanding how coverage, grain marketing, and your operation work together. As hail and wind rates continue to increase, now's the time to ask better questions. Call us today or visit gotrados.com to start protecting 95%. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trados, ingrained in your success.
Good morning, Breakers. This is Scott Miller from Midwest Bank. When I recently joined Midwest Bank, I was immediately impressed by our exceptional service. My first customer made the switch from a large corporate bank and didn't have to wait in line or call a 1-800 number. We treated him like family. He now visits the bank just to say hello. While other banks go corporate, we stay Nebraska. Visit us at midwest.bank or drop by a branch today. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Back to Late Night in Lincoln live on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Nick Whyman.
Welcome back. Late Night Lincoln with Nick Whyman, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. A couple more things to get into, a couple more news and notes before we cap off the day on this Monday evening in the capital city. So college basketball, 2 ranked matchups going on. North Carolina, number 18 in the nation, beats Louisville 77-74. North Carolina had a lead. North Carolina kind of held on to it, but Louisville chipped away 77-74 in that one. The Tar Heels move in front of Louisville in the ACC standings as well. Kansas, a team that lost to Cincinnati on Saturday in a shocking loss at Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas gets back in the win column, beating Houston. Houston, this is the first time they've lost 3 games in a row since the late 2010s. We've seen Houston since 2020 really take off and really be a team where they come into a tournament with maybe like 2 losses all year. But they've lost 3 games in a row. I mean, Houston, that's a wild stat, because you look at Kelvin Sampson and his team, kind of unheard of the way they've been playing. Losing to Iowa State, losing to Arizona, losing to Kansas. Not bad losses per se, but they're still losses. Before we get out of here, I got 2 more news and notes. Quarterback commit that I was teasing was like father, like son. Gunnar Rivers, the son of 8-time Pro Bowl quarterback Phillip Rivers, has committed to play college football at NC State just like his dad did. He's a Fairhope St. Michael's Catholic High School in Alabama, where his father coaches. So he's a 6'3", 200-pound quarterback. He's a 4-star prospect. He's ranked number 12th quarterback in his recruiting class. NC State has some NFL caliber quarterbacks. Mike Glennon, Russell Wilson obviously was there for a bit. A couple other ones. There was Jacoby Brissett. And now you got Gunnar Rivers filling in. Phillip Rivers, obviously NFL quarterback too. Recently just played, so that'll be an interesting thing. One more thing to get out of here. We were talking about the hockey. It all comes back to hockey on late night. So in the movie Miracle, there is a scene about the 1980 Miracle on Ice team. One of the players that was cut, his name was Jack Hughes. This was a movie made years ago. One of the players in the film cut was Jack Hughes. Well, 46 years later to the day, Jack Hughes was the guy who scored the game-winning goal for the United States. Is that scary? Did they predict? I mean, Jack Hughes, in the film, they show the players that were cut from the team, and Jack Hughes is listed as one of those cuts. Look it up. It's a thing. Jack Hughes scores the game-winning goal for the United States in the year 2026. That's wild. Foreshadowing? I don't know. I don't know how you know that years in advance, but kind of crazy. That's how it comes down to. So thank you all for joining in. Thank you all for listening through 6 a.m. to midnight every day. We got content here at the Ticket. No matter what, we got people here. We have a really great team. And this is just Monday. We have a full week ahead of us. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for chiming in the chat. We appreciate you all for staying up with me. Or if you're getting ready to go to work or whatnot, truly appreciate it. Your voice is welcome. So we'll see you tomorrow. Early break, 6 a.m. A lot of really good shows tomorrow. Takedown Tuesday. Lincoln Stars are back after they had a game on Tuesday. We'll be back.